Hey everybody, it's Chanchai. I wanted to do a video update. A couple weeks ago I did impressions, just out-of-the-box impressions, not a review, of the QANBA GRAVITY KS. And they are snap-in buttons, and as you saw in the video, they had, it was like a nice plastic look. They have a really beautiful, pretty clean look. So anyways, I want to update my impressions. I intend to do a full review eventually because, but I think when I do that review, it needs to include some aspects such as, checking out how their LED performance on top of that, because that is a factor, and a lot of people have custom LEDs, and I do have a couple stick setups that do have LEDs in them, so it would be a nice place to try that out. So that'll be in the review. Okay, so updates on the impressions really quick. In the previous video, I had said that, the out-of-the-box impressions, you don't really know how it performs until you actually mount it into a case and play with it. So, having said that, I mentioned that they kind of they seemed a lot like a gamer finger. Once you got these things mounted, once you use them, they're not at all like a gamer finger, and that's not a bad thing. So they're not gamer finger replacements, though in some qualities they do compete with gamer finger, but these buttons really are I think they really create their own feel, their own look, and I think they do all of these very well. So I think the QANBA GRAVITY KS is definitely going to be a button that some people are just it's going to be the favorite for some people, not everyone. It's going to depend on what people really want out of their buttons. So to spoil some of my review, I would say that on performance, they do perform very well, but I personally think that my impression when I play with them is that I think, for me at least, 202s and gamer finger buttons do perform better, but and Sanwa perform really good too. So those are like my three favorites. Where does the GRAVITY KS fall on that? It's actually really close. It's a little behind, slightly behind, but I feel like I don't really lose because of it. Maybe if I played Akira in VF, that would be more of a situation where the feel difference might be affecting me a little. But I don't mainly play Akira in Virtua Fighter, and someday I'll explain to people why Akira is this kind of metric as far as Virtua Fighter goes. But the performance is really, really good, though. It's very comparable. It is in those leagues, but maybe just to me, I think they're just slightly behind, but they're not behind by much. I definitely like them more than the QANBA Gravities, and I like them more than the Seimitsu, which Seimitsu is an amazing button, but it's just not for me because that one is like a heavy actuation force. Anyways, back on the QANBA GRAVITY KS. They play great, they feel great, so performance, they're very good. Are they at the top? Not for me, but are they close to the top? Very close. Okay, so now we're saying that they're very good performing buttons. How about the sound? So for sound, basically it is similar to the gamer finger in that with Sanwas, you've got a clack, 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 and Crown 202s also has got like a quieter clack and like a subdued clack. And then you have like the Sun Malone buttons that I left impressions for out of the box. Those ones are click, right? That's like an American Suzo hap button where it's like click, 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 Sanwa, and the others are kind of clack, 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 clack. It's more of a lighter sound. Okay, so gamer finger and QANBA GRAVITY KS, and especially the QANBA GRAVITY KS, has a very thunk, 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 thunk sound. It's a little more bassy. It's not going to be. It's not going to wake up my wife really as much as the others. It's very quiet, and that's because it's just going off at a lower register. So it's very much thunk, thunk, thunk. So click, 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 clack, 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 thunk, thunk, thunk. And so GRAVITY KS is very thunk, thunk, thunk. Okay. Now, visually, how do they look? I think they look really beautiful. I think you could see it on the last video I made. The QANBA GRAVITY KS are a very beautiful button. It's not everyone's aesthetic, but a lot of people are going to like it, and a few people are going to absolutely love it. It's going to be the perfect look for them because it's got that glow, it's got that translucent shine to it. That's really cool. And you know, it's a beautiful circular round rims that just look really good. And the color choices they went with are, I really like the color choices they went with. I've heard some people it's not really their thing, but I think there's a lot of people that are going to like them, and there's going to be this group of people that just absolutely love it. It's going to speak to them. And some people are going to go out of their way to get these buttons on the look, and they're going to be more than happy with the performance. So that's kind of a big deal there. And I think that's kind of what QANBA Gravity KS kind of hits. Here's the last metric and probably the most important. How do they feel on your fingers? So this is where they really stand out and really created, you know, maybe they're competing more with Seimitsu when it comes to this, but it's not the same as the Seimitsu feel. I would describe the feel of the QANBA Gravity KS buttons as more of like a plastic resin feel. So you think about like plastic resin toy figures, like old G.I. Joes from the 80s. Specifically, I'm thinking Cobra Commander. That kind of feel to it. It's slightly tacky. It's not sticky, but your skin really catches onto it. And so this is going to be like, when you get used to it, anybody can get used to it. But there'll be a few people where this is the perfect feel for them. There'll be a lot of people who are like, this is nice, this is good. And there'll be some people who this is not their thing. But I think, again, it's going to be a perfect fit for a decent chunk of people. It's not my perfect fit, but it is cool. But I still prefer it to be more slick, and this is not slick. These, like, your fingers are going to perfectly catch it, and because of that, even though they are small buttons, or not that huge, you still kind of catch them a little more, you know, like, you can catch them a little more, or get to the buttons a little easier than some other buttons, just simply because of this, that they're just a little more what we call tacky. And not tacky in appearance, but like tactile. In tennis, we have over grips that we put on the handle, you know, and some people like a super tack, some people like a tack, T-A-C-K, and it's in that line where these buttons are a little more tacky, and we mean that in a feel way, and that's a good thing. It's a good quality. It's not for everybody. Some people it's going to be their ideal though. So that is what I can tell you about the QANBA Gravity KS snap buttons, and why they might be the perfect fit for you. They might totally not be for you, but I think a lot of people are going to love how they look, how they feel, which are both are different, and I think they're going to like how they sound too with that thump, thump, thump. So yeah, enjoy the QANBA Gravity KS. And also thank you to somebody who was really nice to post clarification. On the last video I said that I thought that they were probably Omron micro switches. They are not. They are Romer G switches, which the person said is by Logitech, and I know Logitech keyboards use Romer G. I'm just not sure if Logitech are the ones who made it, but we can, you know, maybe assume, because Romer Gs were very popular in a lot of the models of the Logitech keyboards, including a couple that I use. So they are Romer G switches, and I like them. I think the micro switch perform really, really well, extremely well. Not everything has to be cherry, and actually understanding that these are Romer Gs would actually probably help you understand some of what to expect as far as how these things actuate, and kind of where those mini switches would contribute to the sound profile. So there it is. A review is eventually going to come. I have no idea when, but I hope this video helps you. I hope you guys, I hope for some of you it lets you know whether you really want to try them or whether you really don't want to try them. But I think QANBA has made a good product that is going to have its own place in our marketplace. So it's going to be up to the hobbyists, to hopefully the ones who really love this, to find it and use them and advocate for them. And then you know, for me, 202s are still my favorite, and gamer fingers are probably still the buttons I recommend the absolute most for a lot of people, but it also depends on the needs. And preference, just like with levers, is a big deal with the buttons. 100% big deal with the buttons. And the QANBA Gravity KS has definitely found a place where there's definitely going to be a good amount of people that really prefer this button. It's going to be perfect for some people. So enjoy, and thank you very much. Feel free to ask any questions. Feel free to send any corrections. I'm very, I'm here to listen to that and to help, because we're just all in it together as a community. We're going to help each other better understand these awesome things that we get to play with. All right, talk to you later. Bye.